I mean, it's just I think Islam Makhachev is a better version of Bilal. I think his striking on the feet is I think it's more. I even think it's easier. The striking on the feet, I think it's easier than Bilal because he'll stay in one stance. He's more traditional style. But yeah, he's the pound for pound number one. So it's a tough fight. But I guess we'll just watch all these fights again, make a solid game plan, and then just start working at it. From pretty much now, I'm going to start working on ways to beat him, different ways to get back to my feet, stuff in the takedown. But I'm pretty confident I can get this one.
Della Maddalena is bigger. He showed that he can stop takedowns. On the feet, there's absolutely no question. Della Maddalena is on another level. He's probably got the best, cleanest boxing in the UFC. It wouldn't surprise me if we see an upset here and Della Maddalena is still the champion at the end of the day.
I think it's more. I even think it's easier. The striking on the feet, I think it's easier than Bilal because he'll stay in one stance. He's more traditional style.
JDM did an interview I think this week, and he broke down that he believes Islam's stand-up is a little bit easier to deal with than Bilal's because Islam has more of a traditional style for his stand-up. Do you feel like people are kind of missing some of the X factors that Islam brings with his striking?
If he's saying that, I hope that he goes in believing that, because when he gets in there with Islam, you're going to find out a whole different story because I'm sorry, they're completely different. And by no means is Islam an easy for anybody on the stand-up. Any MMA fighter that's a striker, that's not going to have an easy time with him. I've been with this kid like going on 11 years of watching him just destroy everybody on the stand-up, guys that are much better stand-up than him, and he still destroys them. So no. Don't go by what you see. When you get in there with that man, it's a whole different ballgame.
I don't think Islam has the chin that Bilal has.
You feel like it's a situation where this is going to be an eventual down the line, like third, fourth round? Or do you think people might even be shocked to see it happen earlier on?
We know for a fact if Jack clips someone clean on the chin, they can go over. So it could happen in the first minute. It could happen in the 24th minute. It could happen in the 24 minute, 59 seconds. It could happen 3 rounds in. Jack likes long fights. He likes to be in there. But obviously we're not getting paid for overtime. So if the opportunity arises, we're happy to take it. But Jack's cardio, as we saw, Bilal's reputedly the best cardio in the UFC, and Jack out cardioed him. Bilal was more tired than Jack towards the end of the fight. So Jack's cardio is exceptional, his power is exceptional, and yeah, I like the fight. I really do.
Islam versus JDM. What do you make of that? Islam moving up to now welterweight.
Yeah, it's an interesting fight. I'm excited to see how it goes. Islam is a lightweight. He's going to be a little smaller in the fight, but he's a well-rounded fighter. So, if he's able to take down JDM and control him, he could definitely get the job done. But it's going to be interesting to see how the size advantage plays a difference in the fight.
Who do you favor?
I mean, I seen the odds were pretty big. They favored Makhachev like 3-1. So I guess I got to go with the odds if they're going 3-1. But just because JDM doesn't have good takedown defense, but you never know. It's a fight, and JDM has some good hands, so it should be an exciting fight for the fans.
He didn't just promise a win, he drew a line in the sand. Jack Della Maddalena says Islam Makhachev's stand-up is more readable than Bilal Muhammad's, and that one clean exchange could flip UFC 322 on its head. That isn't empty talk, it's a challenge to the pound-for-pound king at his most comfortable range. It's the kind of claim that makes fans lean in, because if Jack is right, we might be watching a champion who refuses to blink. Jack's argument starts with rhythm and repetition. When he believes Islam stands more traditionally, shows him the same picture longer, and that consistency makes the timing clearer. Against Bilal, the looks kept changing. Against Islam, the target feels steadier. So the plan is brutally simple. Rewatch every round, build answers for the fence, for the mat, and for the get-ups, then spend camp drilling exits and punishments until they're instinct. He isn't pretending the climb is casual. He calls Islam the #1 for a reason, but he also believes timing beats aura. The homework never stops, because every answer breeds a new question, and every drill gets faster until mistakes disappear under real pressure. On the other side, the answer came fast. Coach Javier Mendez heard the easier striking line and shot back that what looks smooth on tape turns sharp in person. He spent more than a decade watching Islam quiet elite strikers And he wants Jack to enter believing it's simple, because the first exchange will correct that. The point isn't that Islam is flashy, it's that his efficiency is unsettling. He doesn't need to win the round on the feet, he only has to make you react a half beat late, and the rest of his game opens. Inside Jack's room, the message is the opposite. Ben Vickers keeps circling one reality. If Jack lands clean, it can end at any minute of any round. He respects Islam's composure, no reckless entries, no desperate shots, but insists that the longer a striking pocket lingers, the more dangerous it becomes for the challenger. Expect Islam to clinch early, not in a panic, but to test frames, sap the legs, and make the fence feel like a second opponent. Expect Jack to punish the grab with tight uppercuts, stubborn frames, and short elbows that make every hold expensive. Then there's the Khabib factor. Everyone has heard the corner audio pushing Islam to wrestle more, shoot often, chain attempts, and cook the clock. Vickers thinks that voice will be louder at welterweight, not a sprint to the hips, but a steady march. Kick at range to draw the guard, jab to the fence, clasp the body, and turn control into minutes. Islam trusts his stand-up when needed, but his true superpower is time theft. Jack's answer must be the opposite. No free minutes, no silent rounds, no clinch that doesn't get taxed. The commentary around them won't shut up either. Michael Bisping looks at size, takedown defense, and some of the cleanest boxing in the sport and says not to be shocked if we see an upset. He isn't alone in thinking the betting gap feels disrespectful. If the fight spends long stretches on the feet, Jack's accuracy and footwork can tilt around before the numbers even catch up. That's the intrigue. Islam's game is about control. Jack's is about changing the room with a punch you didn't see. Momentum in this kind of fight is fragile, and when odds drift too far, fighters feel it and turn that slight into edges that cut cleaner on fight night. Others pull the rope the other way. Colby Covington leans on the math he trusts. If Islam plants you and keeps you there, control beats highlights. That's the classic clash, pressure versus precision. Robert Whittaker adds a twist. He was surprised to see the lightweight title given up along the way, but when he studies the matchup, he sees Jack's grit taking a bite out of Islam's grind. He also circles a quiet hazard, kicks. Islam used them beautifully against Alexander Volkanovski, and Jack has been tagged there before. Sean Brady watches from a different angle. The wrestler in him roots for Islam because he wants that test later, but the analyst in him keeps returning to how undercredited Jack is. For Brady, the threat isn't just the right hand, it's how quickly Jack resets after a scramble, how little panic shows when positions tangle, and how the cardio refuses to dip when the clock says it should. Carlos Prates echoes the surprise at how far Jack has leaped since injury, and Henry Cejudo supplies the reality check. Islam on top is an education nobody forgets. Alexander Volkanovski lights up at the timing. Beating Bilal did more than win a belt, it cleared ghosts. Stopping every shot for 25 minutes rewires your doubts. That matters when the mat threatens to swallow you. With confidence restored, the sprawl gets quicker, the underhooks dig deeper, and the counters come out without hesitation. Israel Adesanya takes it further. He thinks scrambles tilt chaotic once Jack slips free, and if the reset happens 3 or 4 times, the chance for a clean connection spikes. Luke Rockhold labels the matchup tricky and thrilling. He trusts Islam's lifetime of grappling more than the late conversion of most welterweights, but he also knows sizes don't lie. He trained alongside Islam, felt the frames, and wants to see how they translate a division up. Bilal Muhammad, fresh off the lesson Jack handed him, points to Islam's discipline, game plan, and patience. No ego chasing a brawl when the smart road is right there. Yoel Romero, never shy about calling danger, sees a true coin flip built on power, pressure, and pace. So what does a winning night look like for Jack? It starts like a drumbeat. Touch the body early, make the cage feel wide, and keep the lead hand busy until Islam's feet have to react. When the shot comes, meet it with hips and fists, not fear. Dig the cross, circle off, and re-establish center. The moment Islam tries to slow the room with a clinch, punish the head position and peel away. If the kicks begin to carve the legs, answer with counters and make the price immediate. Jack isn't hunting chaos, he's hunting moments that add up. If a round closes tight, he'll press behind the jab and make judges remember impact instead of another quiet clinch. clinch. And Islam, his path is a blueprint refined by years. Kick to measure, jab to move, and fence to mat. If he steals the first half of each round, there's no rush to steal the second. Make Jack fight wrists instead of range. Put shoulders on the mesh, weigh on the legs, and test the mat returns again and again until the spring fades. Islam doesn't need to dominate the feet, he needs to dilute them. To make every exchange carry attacks that compounds by the championship rounds. This isn't just speed versus strength or striker versus grappler. It's a battle over rhythm itself. Jack wants a metronome he controls. Pop, move, sting, reset, until the opening yawns and the finishing sequence writes itself. Islam wants static and slow fades, heavy hands, heavy hips, heavy minutes, that turn the octagon into a room with only one door. Both men are cool enough to hide their tells. Both are stubborn enough to force their game for as long as the other lets them. Maybe that's why this matchup hums the way it does. If Jack is right about Islam's stand-up being more predictable than Bilal's, we'll see it in the first 2 minutes when the jab starts solving the puzzle, and the right hand shows up behind it. If Mendes is right, we'll see it in the first clinch, when the confidence leaks and the escape takes longer than it should. In a sport where 1 inch can rewrite a legacy, both stories can be true until the moment one of them isn't. One more layer is the scorecards. Judges have been leaning toward damage over idle control, but control that leads to strikes still bank points. That pushes both men toward efficiency. If Islam settles Jack on the mat and chips with elbows, a quiet round becomes his. If Jack chews the legs and snaps the head back 3 times, the optics flip instantly. That's why feints, stance switches, and late flurries could swing entire frames. Small choices scored in real time often decide massive nights. So picture it now. A right hand cutting the air, legs that either hold or betray. A chess match that turns into a sprint with no warning. Jack Della Maddalena believes that if he touches Islam clean, the belt stays put. Islam Makhachev believes the cage can be a vice that squeezes all that belief out of you 1 clinch at a time. They're both calm, they're both certain, and when that door shuts at UFC 322, we're going to find out whose certainty survives impact.